I guess I said Miles Wood went to Vegas. Whatever. Um, 3 hour meetup today. I'm tired. I got Jersey right in the majority of the video, but whatever. The scores tonight don't matter. Calgary beats Vancouver 5-2. Pittsburgh beats Columbus 7-3. Detroit beats Boston in overtime 4-3. Tampa beats Nashville 5-2. Islanders beat the Rangers 5-2. Montreal beats Ottawa 3-2. Toronto beats Buffalo 3-2. Florida beats Dallas 4-3 in overtime. Arizona beats Anaheim 6-1. Vegas. Why was I saying Vegas? Because I was waiting for the Vegas San Jose game to finish. Shootout right there, 5-4, and Minnesota shuts out the Colorado Avalanche. So that's why I said Vegas, because I was waiting for that game to finish so I could do this video. And then I'm like, right, Wood. I forgot Wood, so I had to go and get changed and then get changed back into King stuff because they didn't play tonight. Yeah, it makes sense somehow. Just turn your brain off. Okay. Statistical interesting things. Statistically interesting to me is the rookies, the guys who are brand new to their team, or guys who may or may not make it, and they might be making an argument they should make it. Stenlund ended up with 2 assists for Columbus Blue Jackets tonight versus Pittsburgh. Cullen, 2 goals and an assist for Pittsburgh versus Columbus. So Cullen, who I could totally understand if people said, he's past it, he's old, what's he doing? 2 goals and an assist tonight for Pittsburgh. Aston Reese with 3 assists for Pittsburgh versus Columbus. I can't see him ending up not on their top 9 this year. I can't see it. Grubauer saved 26 out of 33 versus Minnesota, but the entire team apparently didn't show up, as Stalock saved 16 out of 16 against Colorado. So this was a bad game for Colorado, and you just throw it away. And I looked at the lineups, and mostly what was in the lineup for Colorado was their minor leaguers, in Minnesota had a lot of their main guys in there. So that'll happen. The thing that it hurts. So you put all your rookies out there so you get an idea of who might be ready and might not. But when you've got them out there against a veteran lineup, they're just going to get killed, like what happened tonight. Stempniak had 2 assists for Boston tonight versus Detroit. He's trying to make the team. He hasn't got a contract yet. Hughes with another goal for Boston versus Detroit. He's trying to make Don Sweeney's decision difficult too. Zadina had a goal tonight for Detroit versus Boston. There had been talk after the last game that Zadina might end up finding himself getting sent off the team. Veleno with an assist as well. Veleno and Zadina are 2 guys that are trying to prove that they're ready right out of the draft. And Detroit, with what's happened with Zetterberg, really kind of desperately needs that. Joseph for Tampa Bay had 2 assists tonight against Nashville. Wotherspoon had 2 assists tonight for the New York Islanders versus the New York Rangers. And Thomas Greiss had 25 saves on 27 shots. And I'm keeping track with New York Islanders to how many shots they're allowing and which goaltender's having the best statistical preseason. Greiss probably doesn't want to lose that starter's job to Robin Lehner. So if you have a good, healthy competition between goalies, it can help as long as one of them doesn't pout. Brady Tkachuk had a goal tonight for Ottawa versus Montreal, and Thomas Tatar with a goal tonight for Montreal versus Ottawa. If Montreal is going to defy gravity and manage to stay in any kind of race this year, they're going to need production from Tatar. They need the guy they got back for Pacioretty to actually produce. Brooks 2 assists tonight for Toronto versus Buffalo. Rosen with a goal tonight for Toronto, and Hall with an assist. Hall and Rosen are fighting for probably one playoff spot, and Borgman's in there too. So it's going to be, and of course, Ozaganov, who I think is very solid. So it's going to be interesting to see how Toronto's blue line shakes down. Pickard had 14 saves on 14 shots. Of course, there are 4 goalies. All 4 would need waivers if they're going to go to the minors. We know Freddie Anderson's not going to the minors. The other 3, not quite as clear. So Pickard makes his argument tonight that he should get consideration. Anderson played the other part of the game. Skinner with his first goal for Buffalo tonight versus Toronto. And of course, it's preseason, so once we get into October, that goal, kind of forgotten. For Florida, Borgstrom got a goal tonight versus Dallas, and Gurianov got a goal tonight for Dallas versus Florida. Gurianov statistically is having a decent preseason. Maybe he can make it. Maybe he can. Maybe he's better in the NHL than he was in the AHL. That would be interesting, and sometimes that happens. Ryan Miller's having a rough preseason. He saves 31 out of 37 for Anaheim versus Arizona. Krause with 2 goals for Arizona versus Anaheim. And, of course, Lawson is trying to get back into the NHL full-time this year after spending a lot of time in the American League. Pettersson with a goal and an assist tonight for Vancouver versus Calgary. And it was apparently his worst game he's had for Vancouver so far, and he still gets 2 points. And, of course, the fact they lose 5-2 and Pettersson gets 2 points, that's what I want to see during the year. Pettersson gets a bunch of points and the Canucks lose. I want to see them competitive. I want to see the young kids playing well. But I don't want to see them meandering and almost in the playoffs and then getting a 16th or 17th overall draft pick kind of thing. Hey, I realize that the non-playoff teams make up 1 through 15. If there's a way for the Vancouver Canucks to still draft 17th or 18th, they'll find it. Demko with 17 saves on 21 shots for Vancouver. He played the whole game. I don't think Demko's going to stay with the team. I think they'll go with Nelson and Markstrom. But it was nice to see Demko get a whole game. And I thought he was relatively solid in the third. I really did. Zarnik with 3 goals for Calgary versus Vancouver. So Zarnik looks like he's just as good for Calgary as I thought he might be. Gillies, 13 saves on 14 shots. Riddick, 14 saves on 15 shots for Calgary versus Vancouver. It's not going to make Brad Treliving's job any easier, is it? Which goalie do you keep, Riddick or Gillis? Or Gillies? Gillies and Riddick are putting up statistically almost the same numbers. And they've both looked relatively solid. And it's going to be interesting to see which one they keep. Because Riddick doesn't want to lose that backup spot. Of course he doesn't. And Gillies is probably tired of playing in the American League. So it'll be very interesting to see which goalie they end up going with to back up Mike Smith. Pacioretty had a goal tonight for Vegas versus San Jose. Bischoff had 2 assists tonight for Vegas versus San Jose. And that rounds out the interesting rookies, maybe. And again, I don't have some scores that were big on here because they were put up by players that we know are making the roster. And hat tricks don't necessarily mean much of anything in the preseason. So people are like, where's the Bjorkstrand hat trick? He's going to make the team. We know that. Danik Martel was claimed by the Tampa Bay Lightning from Philly, which I thought's interesting. It's interesting to see somebody claimed on waivers already, meaning Tampa's saying, okay, we're going to keep him, because they'd have to put him back on waivers if they're going to send him down. The Vegas Golden Knights sent Dansk down to the Chicago Wolves. He had to clear waivers to go down. Chicago sends Jordan Schrader down to Rockford, and he had to clear waivers to go down. And Molson for the Buffalo Sabres cleared waivers. Can you imagine? I mean, the guy makes $5 million a year, which is why he can clear waivers. But when he got signed, this is not what anybody expected. Zach Fucale got sent down to the Chicago Wolves by Vegas as well. Fucale and Dansk, that is a really solid tandem. Honestly, it's a really solid tandem for Chicago. If Fucale can play in the American League the way that he played in the preseason for Vegas, it's a small sample size, but maybe Fucale's happy to be out of Montreal. Maybe he feels that he doesn't have any pressure. He may have felt pressure as a top prospect and a higher draft pick than most goalies these days, and maybe going to a new organization will help him. We'll see. So there you go. Those are the demotions of note. There have been a ton of demotions. If you want to see all of the demotions, so you're curious to know who got sent down and who didn't, you can go to rosterresource.com. They have an NHL transaction tracker, and they've got a ton of names on there of guys who got cut. Because for those of us who follow the preseason, you may not be able to hear every single name of a guy who gets cut and passes through waivers in the NHL. There's some interesting names out there. Okay, now by request, I have been requested to open this on camera. I don't know if my wife knows what's in here or not.
Oh, no, I don't.
One of our illustrious mods sent me a package. And it looks like it came through Amazon.
It's baby rattlesnakes, so...
I don't think it's baby rattlesnakes.
That's all I've been told, is that it's baby rattlesnakes.
Okay, let me just close up my knife before I stab myself with it. Okay. Dear Lord. An Amazon gift receipt, so apparently it's a...
Enjoy your America balls.
Holy crap.
That's a lot.
Wow, that is...
Oh, wow.
That is
That's
insane.
a ton of America balls.
So this is what I was talking about in a video recently. I mention it every now and then. That Skittles had America Mix, which is all red, white, and blue. And that's hilarious. Thanks, Drew. This is why it was making that noise. I didn't think that would be... Holy crap, that's a lot. Because it's 2 bags of America balls. And that's what I call them. And every time we've gone to the States for months now, I've been upset because I go to the candy aisle.
We have been looking all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when we were in Vegas, we looked at the stores when we were in Vegas.
That's insane. And yeah, these are good. They're not expired or anything either. I don't know how he did this. 41 ounces, 2 pounds, 9 ounces.
He's magical. That's
So
a
these
lot.
two together, 5 pounds, 8 ounces equals a
baby.
Yeah. So I can kind of cradle it. Anyways, here.
Yes. It's about as big as my babies.
We're going to have to hide those.
Yes.
Okay.
From you?
Probably, yes. That's probably wise. So there you go. We will be uploading footage from the meetup that we had today, where I scored a grand total of 6 goals, and none of them were on camera. Not one. But I did score 6.
You scored a lot, yeah.
And I think it was because I was being fed while I was standing in front of the net. And yeah, it was kind of weird because I decided I had enough of being a defenseman. I was like, I'm going to try playing forward today because I'm tired of not getting on the score sheet. And then there you go. So I got 6, which is nothing compared to a couple of guys. One of them thought he had over 20, which I think that's probably accurate. You guys will see when the footage gets uploaded. And we did change out the teams after the footage that got recorded, and that was when I started getting goals. It was pretty insane. But it didn't happen on video, so it didn't really happen, did it? Unfortunately. So there you go. Fun day today, and again, I apologize for the lapse with the Miles Wood video, but you know, I'm really tired, and I haven't had a shower yet, and I ate when we were out, but I'm still kind of hungry and thirsty, and yeah, it's nice to be home and have everything done earlier in the day. We had a meetup at 2 o'clock. It was done at 5 o'clock, and you know, that was fantastic. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the channel, but for people who are looking for the new third jerseys, if you go onto eBay, there's Ben H Sports, and I mention him a lot, and here's why. He already has the Carolina, St. Louis, Arizona, and Colorado thirds up, the brand new ones. He's already got them up for sale. It's $179 Canadian if you're in Canada, and yeah, he's already got them all up for sale. And the only thing that I will say is that the size 50 of Arizona is already sold out, because that's gonna sell like crazy. Those new Kachina jerseys are gonna sell like crazy, and I have my eye on one or two, and we'll see what ends up happening in the coming weeks. But for now, for tonight, I'm done. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And for the record, we're a little bit over halfway through the preseason. We're going to get through all these preseason games, see the rosters getting cut down quite a bit coming into the next week, and then we'll have a good idea of who's made it, who hasn't, and who rocketed up the charts that we didn't expect. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.